Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah, and if you're watching this after I freshly uploaded it, we just celebrated Thanksgiving, and I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and had lots to be thankful for. Now, I know holidays also can be very hard if we've recently lost loved ones or things of that nature. When I was 25, my mom passed away of cancer 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, so I understand loss at the holiday season and the pain that that brings. But even in those times, I hope you have found things to be thankful for, as this is a season to remember what we do have. And you know, there's a time to be born, there's a time to die, and God has a purpose for each one of us. So if you're still here, you still have a purpose, and He has a plan for your life. So that alone is something to be thankful for, even in the midst of pain and sorrow. So I hope that however your Thanksgiving was, that you were able to find the things to be thankful for and enjoy it with those that you love. Now, today's video we're gonna look at, and I'm gonna bring you along with my family making these cinnamon ornaments. Now, as I looked up recipes, a lot of them have had like simple 2-ingredient recipe, applesauce and cinnamon, and to me, applesauce says it will go bad. So I dug and found this salt dough recipe, and I'll put the link below so that you can see the blog post where she talks about her recipe and all making that. And you know, it's 1 part flour, 1/2 part salt, and then the cinnamon and water to make it moist and scented. So to me that says lasts much longer, won't mold on your tree, you know, won't start rotting in the middle of Christmas season. So she says in her post that this lasts for a long time, and I'm thinking she means like year after year. Now, when I was a kid, we made these cinnamon ornaments as well. I don't remember the recipe, and like I said, my mom has passed away, so I didn't bother to try to ask anybody, but I'm assuming we did a salt dough recipe because we also put them with our ornaments at the end of Christmas, put them up in the attic, and brought them back down year after year, you know, until they like didn't look good anymore. So I'm thinking these should last for a while. Do that if you want. I might put mine in its own separate container and put them up in the attic, so if they do go bad, it doesn't get on any of my other ornaments. But then if they're good, I'll just hang them up again. So this was a fun project to do with the kids. Now, it does not come without challenges. We did have some throwing the hands in the air, I can't do this type moments where things got frustrating. Cookies fell apart, they didn't come off the table onto the tray right, couldn't get the hole right. You know, the things that happen when you're working with a project like this or making cookies of some sort with kids. So, you know, just be warned ahead of time. There could be meltdowns. Give them a break. Let them come back to it. This is kind of a long process. So we simply mixed 1 cup flour, 1/2 cup salt, with 3/4 cup cinnamon. Mix that all together so it's nice and combined, and then add 3/4 cup water. I followed the directions to a T, and my dough seemed to be the right moistness. You don't want it too wet. It's going to stick to your table and not be firm when you're moving it after you've cut it onto the pan. You don't want it too dry because I feel like it could probably crack. We didn't have any dry dough, so I don't know that from experience, but that's my guess. So once you've got it mixed up, knead it for a little bit to get it nice and uniform ball of dough, and then we put down parchment paper and then just rolled it on the parchment paper. We did find, this is one tip trick, is if you put cinnamon down first like you would flour, but I didn't want to do flour because it's white obviously, so we put cinnamon down so it'd be brown, and then when you shake and, you know, stick your cookie cutter in and really wiggle it really good, then sometimes the cutout stays in the cookie cutter, and it's really easy then to just put on your pan. Otherwise, if it doesn't stick in your cookie cutter, you know, it definitely comes off of the sheet very easily. So, you know, get your cookie cutters cut out, and once you've got those in the pan, you ball up the leftover dough, roll it out again, make sure you've got a nice layer of cinnamon on there, a nice layer of cinnamon on your rolling pin so it doesn't stick. Roll that out, cut them out again, and you just repeat this until you're out of dough. And I found that one of these recipes that I just gave you makes enough to fill about 1 cookie sheet. There's a little left over. So 1 batch, 1 cookie sheet. So for my family, we each did our own batch, so we could each have our own cookies to decorate and make how we want. So once they're on the cookie sheet, my pans are old, so I put the parchment paper down, but here's tip number 2 that I realized: if you do that when the cookies are baking, now you bake them at 200 degrees for 2 to 3 hours. I did 2-ish hours. I didn't keep super good track of time, and that seemed to be enough. The centers were still soft when I went to paint them, but I just have them sitting out, and they're gonna sit out and air dry essentially the rest of the way until I give them away as gifts. So I'm hoping that they will finalize the hardness, but if you want to be safe, maybe go closer to the 3-hour mark. So anyway, tip number 2, with the paper on the pan, as they baked, the paper's kind of crinkled, and it put crinkly lines on the back side of my ornaments. Now, this may or may not be a problem depending on how your ornaments turn out. Some of them, as they bake, the salt rises. So the top is gonna turn more white, and the back is gonna get dark. Now the bottom, where it's getting dark is where you wanna paint, but if it is sitting on that parchment paper, it's getting the wrinklies. So then when you, halfway through, after an hour of baking, you flip them, or hour and a half if you're gonna go 3 hours, flip them, and the top side, once flipped, is not gonna pick up that crinkly. If you wanted to paint the dark side, it's gonna be crinkly, which if you wanna do like a rustic wood type look, that could add to the artisticness of it. Do what you want. But just be aware that that's what happens when you use parchment paper. You want to make sure you make the holes while it's wet. And you can either, when you're cutting out the cookie, then poke the hole, but if it sticks in the cookie cutter and you need to put it on the pan, then at that point, make the hole. So whenever it is, make sure you get the hole. I started baking some, and when I went to flip it, I went, there's no hole in them, and I was able to poke it in, thankfully, after an hour of baking, but it was a little rough. So don't do that. Poke the hole before you bake them. Now you can use a chopstick like we did, or you can use a straw and just, and it kind of pokes the hole up in there. I don't have disposable straws, and I didn't want to mess with cleaning my straws with getting that gunk up in there, especially because we're gluten-free. So I used a chopstick. So get the hole in there, bake 200 for 2 to 3 hours, let them cool, and then paint however you want. You don't have to paint them at all. I had acrylic paint markers that I just wanted to go ahead and use. They're not, the ones I have aren't very good, so there was a pain in the butt to paint with these. I kind of wish I had just gone and bought those paint pen markers. You know, they're usually gold. You have to shake them to get the paint. You get gold, white, black, ones like that. I kind of wish I had just looked for those. I would have loved to have had probably black, white, red, and green. Maybe gold, but I think black, white, red, and green would have been enough to decorate with, and I think they would have worked better. But if you have paint pens, use what you have, try it out. You could try puffy paint. That might work too. I don't know if it would stick well. I don't know. I didn't try it. I thought about it, but I didn't. So then once you're done decorating them, or not decorating them, if you want to leave them plain, get a ribbon. I use twine and just looped it through the hole, tied a knot. I like that little simple rustic look with the, I have red and brown twine. I think I've seen green. Anyway, so hang them up, and then I'm gonna probably package them in their own little bag. I have little self-sealing cellophane bags. You could get those little goodie bags and put multiple in them, you know, that come in for party favor bags and stuff, and something like that, to package them up nice to give them as gifts, because I'm gonna combine this probably with the lip balm and other things that in the next coming videos with this 6 weeks of Christmas. This is week 2, video 2 for 6 weeks of Christmas with DIY gift ideas for you. So we will package these and the other things that I'm making that I will show you in the coming weeks that are fun DIY gift ideas that are not your typical Christmas gift ideas. So you may be like, I'm not making that, or you might be like, that is so cool, I need to try that. So whatever your reaction is, I hope these videos inspire you to get creative this Christmas and make unique gifts for people, especially for teachers, our Sunday school teachers, people that I just want something small to say, we care, we love you, we love what you've been doing and how you've impacted our lives. So these are fun little things. So stay tuned, like keep an eye out for the next videos as we get through weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6 for leading up to Christmas time, so that you can have more inspiration for other Christmas gift ideas to give to those that you care about. So thank you for watching. I hope this has inspired you and that you want to in turn make some cinnamon ornaments for your household and for gifts for others. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. That tells YouTube, people like this. Keep sharing the video to others so that they can be inspired for Christmas. And I will catch you in the next video.